you, Coach Harper. You got it right that time. Very good. Very good. All right, before we transition to the press conference, I want to invite all of our speakers over to my right for a quick photo, if you don't mind standing. Will, take the photo here. Stand up. Yes. Great, of course. All right, now everybody's favorite part. We're going to get started with the formal press conference. For our media friends, please raise your hand and address your question to one of our 4 speakers up here. Jessica is in the audience with a wireless microphone. Please share your name and media affiliation so Coach Harper can begin matching some names and faces out here.
Hi, Natalie Jones with ABC 17 here in Columbia. Welcome to Columbia. You mentioned that you knew Mizzou was the right place for you pretty quickly because of the people, but what about the potential of this program really spoke to you and kind of the history of this program as well?
Thank you. Yes, I think, I knew right off that it was the right fit. And I just felt like the type of players that we're going to be able to recruit, we're going to get them here. And we're going to be successful with them. And I think we've got a great core returning and thrilled to work with them as well. Every box kept getting checked for me. And I told Laird this, and I've told a lot of people when people talk to me, ask me about it. I'm just so happy. I feel like I'm walking around and like I'm just cheesing, because I just feel really good about what I know we're going to be able to do here. And sometimes it's hard to put into words. When you know it's right, it's just right.
Joey Van Zummeren with Missouri on SI. Kelly, welcome to Columbia. Just wondering, as far as player development, when it comes to that, how do you read your roster early on individually, see what kind of where they need to grow, what approach works with them, and then when you have as many players as you have enter the NBA, have success in their career, just what does that mean to you as a coach?
Yeah, thank you. I think first off, when you're talking about player development, I think it's important that there's a lot of communication, that you're working together. Because if I think you need to do something as a player and you're not on the same page with me, are we going to get there? So we have to work together to really develop a plan for your development and your success. I'm very familiar with this team. I've obviously played against this team for several years, and then obviously was able to watch this team throughout the season. So I feel like I've got a pretty good handle of who they are, but I'm really excited about the sitting down with each player and discussing, hey, where do you want to go? Here's where I want you to go, and let's find that sweet spot, and here's how we're going to get there. My staff is incredible at player development. So we're going to have a holistic plan, strength, nutrition, just everything to help them be their best. And yes, we've had the opportunity to coach some extremely talented players that are now playing in the WNBA, and are not just playing, they're having a lot of success there. And so it's very rewarding as a coach when you get to see players realize their dreams. And that's what you want as a coach. You want that relationship to be able to look at them and just be happy. They're your family. They're your family, and I'm looking forward to that same relationship with these young ladies.
Hi, Coach. Killian Wright with the Maneater. What are some defining pillars you're looking to build this team by, both on and off the court, stylistically?
So I think for us, I think there's a couple things. One of the things that I've always felt like we've done a good job of is taking advantage of our strengths as a team on the court. What are we good at, and let's do it. It's a little bit hard to define that right now because we're still building our roster, but that is overall kind of how we want to do things. We're going to be tough. We're going to enjoy the process. They better like it every day they walk in here. They better feel good about it, because they can walk right out if they don't. I love what I do, and they're not going to ruin it for me. They already told them that, so they're fine. I love it, right? And we eat up with it as coaches, so they need to be also. I think I want our fans to see the passion that our players will have. I think that will come through with how we play.
Hi, Coach. Dylan Heinrich with Rocket Nation here. You touched on building this roster. What does that look like for you from a recruiting perspective, both in the portal and then dealing with high school students?
Yeah, so we have a good core of returners that we have. That is our number one priority, are our returning players, and they're really making up the core, the foundation, and I'm super excited about who we have here. And then we know we've got to address some needs on the court. We're going to do that in the transfer portal. We have one young lady signed with the program out of high school. So we're really excited about who we think we can bring in terms of talent, and like I said, be able to address some of those needs. They're going to be great people, great teammates, and hopefully elite competitors as well.
Hey, Coach. Quentin Corbuel with Rocket Nation. Welcome to Columbia. With your experience at several different schools at multiple different levels, from mid-majors to power conference teams, what have you learned about what it takes to build a roster of mostly new players and get them to coalesce very quickly?
Yeah, I think building rosters has changed throughout the years. I've coached a very long time now, and I think you have to adjust with the times, and obviously now with the transfer portal being such a big piece of athletics, you have to learn how not to just manage the portal, but then how are we going to manage our team? How are we going to work together? I think the biggest thing, if we all have a common goal and we all put the team first, then we're all pulling in that direction. And when you can get everyone pulling in the same direction, that's where you want to be. That's your sweet spot. But I think you have to do your research in the recruiting process. Your vision has to align with these players, and they need to want to be here as much as we want to be here.
Eli Hoff from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Question for Coach. You mentioned you're away from coaching and doing some TV work. Just, where do you feel like your coaching approach has maybe evolved with that year away?
Yeah, it's been interesting to really reflect, have some self-reflection this past year. It reminded me what I do love about coaching, and one of the things that I miss more than anything, well, two things: the interactions with the players and interactions with my staff. Like, I love people. I love fighting for something. I love teaching someone how to do something and seeing them go and do it. I love challenging a group and watching them figure it out. I love the puzzle that we have to figure out as a staff. I love that. I missed it. The pace in athletics is, it's crazy. We all know that. So I think I missed a little bit of that as well. I enjoyed my time off, but there's just so much about it that I missed, and I was able to look back and really have probably a different perspective on what's important, and I think that's one reason I'm so fired up about being in Missouri.
Hi, Natalie with ABC 17 again. Obviously you made 3 hires on your coaching staff. What was important to you about bringing in, some familiar faces, people that know your system, and what's been your philosophy on, the people you surround yourself with?
Yeah. So I played at the University of Tennessee for Pat Summitt. Most people that follow women's basketball know that. And one of the things that she always said was, surround yourself with good people. She was a great speaker. That was her signature line, I felt like. And it is so true. It is so true. You can be so much more successful when you're around people that are going to elevate you, and that's what this staff does. One, I trust them completely. Two, they are really, really good, like really good at what they do. And they're not one-dimensional. They are all very good on the court. They're all very good in the office, and they're very good recruiters. And so it was a no-brainer. Y'all, I hit a grand slam with my staff, and that's who I wanted. Those three sitting right there, that's who I wanted with me for this journey.
Hi, Kelly. This is Kevin Utz with the Columbia Missourian. You mentioned your work on the SEC network. You saw Mizzou play in the women's tournament. What did you see from that game against Ole Miss?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, sorry.
You were trying to get me. I was about to start in an answer, and it was not going to be right. We had a really good, strong first half. Right? We just weren't able to play for 40 whole minutes. And so I think, details matter. I was impressed with the toughness and the fight that this team had all season long. We talked about this, there were some heartbreaking losses that could have gut punched a team so much that they quit, and they didn't quit. And that gave me a really good understanding of the type of character that we have on this team. So I can give you a scouting report, but I think that's the most important thing out of it.
Hey, Coach Quinton with Rocket Nation. You mentioned obviously playing under Pat and the lesson you learned from her. What are some other lessons that you learned from her that you have tried to apply to your coaching career since playing for her?
Yeah, two things. One, she was always very classy. So when you walk in our office, I want it to look the part. If we want to be elite, everything we need to do needs to be elite. I think the other thing, she was always very poised as a coach. And even as a young coach, I had my first head coaching job at the age of 26. And as a young coach, I always felt like my team needed that from me. And so I try to give that to them, right? Even in a dire situation, in a timeout late, I want to be the coach that's giving them the confidence that they need to go out and complete the mission. And I felt like I was able to observe and learn that from her.
Kelly, could you just talk about with the moment that the sport is having right now, how great is that for you who kind of paved the way for this generation a little bit with that?
That mean I'm older? You got it. All right. So I think you're seeing so much excitement around our sport right now. And rightly so. I think you see some great basketball being played. And I think it means a lot to me because obviously it's my sport. Obviously I was a part of it, but there were so many people, even for me, that came before me that gave me an opportunity. And I think that's what we're looking for, right? Just an opportunity to showcase what we can do. And that's really special. But this is a great time to really take advantage and grab hold of this trend of these are some really good basketball players, and it's an elite sport, especially in the SEC. So I think it couldn't be a better time to be a women's basketball player.
Okay, that wraps up this portion of the press conference. Laird and Coach Harper will be available for a breakout session over on the backdrop there underneath the scoreboard once we're done here. Thank you all for attending. Please join us for a reception in the Clinton Club immediately following this event up on the club level. Thank you. This has been an amazing crowd. MIZ.